God! Oh my God! Holy shoot! Oh! Please don't take me! Don't take me! Alright, bro. We're back on the trail. Revisiting history. And I don't know if you can see behind me, but if you've seen that building, you know where I'm at. I'm at the Aztec ruins. I got some tests to do and some new information to bring to you guys. So I'm really excited. Don't forget, these are thousands of years old, bro. These are the oldest the most recently inhabited ruins of the Chaco. I'm looking at a yucca twine sandal. That's just yucca. Look how soft and like woven together it is. Same here. I mean, this one's not as woven. Maybe from where though? And again, if you're getting really, really thin strips, then rock cotton and yucca. So that's what it looked like. It's actually a lot different looking. Oh, I guess the yuccas, the strands are brown. Twill fabric. Oh, look at those. Nice and sharp. I'll tell you, it takes a lot of work to get something that way. It's actually crazy that we have this painted hide bag. Like anything made out of animal materials you'd think would be gone pretty quickly. Look at that one. It's beautiful. Absolutely. This one looks like it's been reconstructed. A lot of reconstruction. These are all like jigsaws, so I mean they find them in little chunks and then have to reassemble them. And you can see where they've done good jobs, but there's still fractions missing because you're not going to find all the parts. Even here, there's a giant one. Look at this. Greenstone says, doesn't even say what stone, but I'll tell you that was napped and it probably took you a million years. These ones, I've never seen anything like that. And specifically the one on the left, that would have taken some time. Obsidian, it just flakes, so you can just hit it, use it to knock parts off and make it sharper like that. But these are specimens right here. These green beads with eyes look like little frogs. And it says cylindrical copper beads, so we know Copper Age immediately. But this was one of the last sites to be inhabited, like I said, by the Chaco before it was deserted. And then they moved south. And then we know that we have Picaris ties now. The Picaris Pueblo are connected. And I always focus on this one because Aztec black rectangular bowl with effigy handles. You can see it's got handles. It's an entire container. It's like Tupperware almost, but you know, your 1200s Tupperware, 13th century. Look how eccentric they got with the vases. I mean, like they have these weird points, and sometimes they've even made it to look like effigies. So animals. Here's some smaller points. Again, I can't tell if that was flint napped or maybe wet stoned out on the left. This one looks like it was more flint napped because you can see the cuts on the sides. I'll tell you, I've never actually considered how much work was put into these until I started trying to do it myself. These all look like they're flint napped, but that one's even broken on the very bottom. But I mean, look at how sanded that is. And they didn't have sandpaper. And these, I don't know how long this would have taken. I mean, this is a pretty hard stone, and you can see the center's been chiseled out for a hammer wear. But the same thing down here. These are everywhere, but the entire center has been completely removed so it can be held up. You have axe heads, but look at this one. Look at the sharpness they've got. I mean, look, they had to have worked that and polished it to an extreme degree to get that. So you can see these bowls are from 1515. And the funny thing is the further you get back from the past, the more the art starts to decay. So if we look over here, for instance, and you analyze the way it looks versus here, it's not as precise. It's a little more sloppy. It's much different than whenever this area was inhabited. These are about 1100, 1200, and you can see how the advanced textures are. And then if you go over here, these are about 100 years, 200 years later. And again, technology has declined. And now it says the Athabascans, identified as the Navajo and Apache, were here at Southwest. It says present, doesn't say they arrived. And at Navajo National Monument, I believe they won't release the documents, but I believe they have a hogan there that predates this by 500 years. So, you know, take it as it comes. And then here it gives you a detailed breakdown of how they would have constructed the pueblos. But I mean, here on display, they have one that's 1, 2, 3 stories tall. Over at Chaco, we've seen them 4 and possibly 5. And then also underground, so subsurface. It's pretty insane. As we're looking, you can see how high this does go. I'm on the lower ground, but over there, that's got to be 3, 4 stories. Of course, we have the Grand Kiva in the center for ritualistic purposes, almost like a mayoral house, right in the center. And then it's surrounded by ruins on every side except for this one. And there's some other ruins I know about. All right, so the original trail takes you this direction, and it's going to wrap around to the left. We got lots of little pueblos here, but I'm looking for the T-shaped figures. This one's actually going to take us underneath the entire structure, so you're going to see some of the subsurface stuff, but nothing like Chaco Canyon. Chaco Canyon had this major dip where it went completely underground, and then you can see here on this little section, it's all gray whack. We don't know why, because it would have been covered in a layer of stucco. So the fact that they layered the gray whack like this up here, I don't know if you can see it, up here and then down here, doesn't even make sense why they would do that, except for maybe continuity purposes. But there's a picnic area over there. We got the trail, and I'm just going to keep on trucking this way because that's where the subsurface area is. All right, so I brought a thermometer with me, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to check the temperature out here. And then I'm going to go into the Kiva, and I'm going to take it there. And then I'm going to check it inside the Pueblo, deep inside the Pueblo. And then we'll compare those. The unfortunate thing about a lot of these is that they've been reconstructed. I know at Chaco Canyon, they specifically say that they've come out here and they've reconstructed the entire site. Where I don't know for sure, but this is so well put together. Sometimes you come across them and they're in good condition. Sometimes you come across them and they're completely wrecked. So this one is actually in fairly good condition, but I don't know if it was repaired. I guess we could look at some of the, in fact, based on some of the wood rot would cause problems. The brand new wood indicates that it's probably fairly significantly new. Okay, so my phone says that we're in the 70s, but it's saying that it's 83 and going up. Probably because it's in the direct sunlight, I'm assuming. Yeah, 84.5, it just jumped again, and the humidity's changing as well, so we do know that it's operating at least. All right, so we got an 87.8, 13% humidity. Humidity is dropping, temperature is rising. We're directly in the sun. I don't think we're going to get much of a gauge out here because it's directly in the sunlight. So we'll go ahead and grab that, and now we're gonna go ahead and enter the Grand Kiva because it is grand. Let's see what the entrance looks like. Oh, so cool. I think that'd be the main fire pit, I believe. And then you can see the air inlets. It's already much cooler. So that got up to 91 degrees, even though it's not 91. So apparently they actually have one of the pillars in the ground still there from the original thousands of years ago. And apparently this place, when it was found, was 90% still intact, except for that building, which his roof had caved in. It was like 90,000 pounds and it had been set on fire. Down the road. And that one burnt. This one is this was 1920s, correct? And it burnt down. The Grand Kiva, and then we have, like, I believe what would be the Central Kiva. I've always been kind of conspicuous about the placement of these stones. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Sometimes they usually are 10 or 8. And then over here we can see what I've always been talking about, which is the T-shaped doorways that they said were for getting materials in and out. There's a lizard right there. Getting materials in and out, but it doesn't really make sense because why would you need to get materials in from out there into here? Wouldn't it be on the exterior? But let's go ahead and look. You tell me. It's a T-door. We got a small pillar in the corner. Looks like it's, can't see in there really. We've got, yeah, there's lizards everywhere. We've got more and more. And you can see, apparently, I mean, this is 1,000 years old, and this is the exact brick. Some of the wooden stuff, obviously. They even used a wood cork to keep it authentic, but the doorways are literally 3 feet tall. I'm not sure if that was a on purpose. That looks like a fireplace, obviously. Maybe storage. And then we keep going. I mean, like, you look at this, and then you like look at me. Yeah, I'm not very tall. I just came through that way. There's a T-shaped door way out there, and I can see this, bro. That's not good. That big old crack in the corner. And honestly, man, if these things fell on me, I don't know if I'd be okay. The crazy thing is, so I see all these, right? And then at this level, I start to see like river stones. These rounded river stones. You see these ones that look like they've been quarried and cut? And then above it, river stones. I'm assuming that was filler rocks. And here we go. Some more gray whack over there. They've got it mixed in, but I don't know why they have such a big layer in the front. It doesn't totally make sense to me. And then the T-door, which I think it has to have some sort of significance. Well, I would go back to that. Okay, so if you're trying to get through here and you have a large package on your back, how are you getting through there? Doesn't make sense. And then some of these have been closed off from in the inside. You can see right there on the right side, kind of. It's been blocked. But a lot of these, you can see all the way in through there, have been either blocked off due to safety issues of keeping the ruins intact. Look how beautiful that is, jeez. And now we're just going up the stairs to get to this next area. We got Pueblo's, Skivas, and look at this, just absolutely gorgeous. And then over here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Well, that's been so weird. I can't really count it because of the side. And then you have this weird, it looks like a ditch, like a drainage ditch running down the center. And then you can see right through the windows. Look at that symmetry. And then that goes up high. That's probably the highest platform at the ruin, which we're already 1, 2, that would be 3 stories at least, maybe 4. So, and then you can see the wooden struts, and then the wall still keeps going. It's got to be at least 4 stories. It's like the morning, but it's still hot, and I don't like it. So yeah, that's gonna be the tallest structure I'm talking about. You can see on this side some of the lower structures even below me. And then these wouldn't even come close to that, maybe a floor below it. But let's enter into the domain and then see what we can see. Look at that. Look at this two-tiered. And apparently, I think some of this wood is also, maybe not, maybe actually the way that it's sticking out. This is 800,000-year-old wood. So it's pretty intense, man. Pretty cool. You see how it's broken off here, but it once went all the way up. And this is probably 8 feet. That's got to be, I don't know, 12. And then we pop back out into here, and this is going to be the last open ruin where I get to see the sky. Before we go in here, and I try and get some measurements of temperature. I'm sorry, I'm looking at this. Is a sleeping creature maybe hanging around? Oh, bats. Okay, I got you. Bet. All right, so this is the first room. Dude, there's so much graffiti up there. It makes me sick. And you can kind of see into the interior rooms. There's some matares used for grinding. As I keep going, I enter the interior. And this is what the Pueblos would have been like originally. These ones are kind of subsurface, so you can see even the ground here is above where we're standing. And then if I go further in, I'm going to keep going until it gets cool. Oh, I can take my temperature. But not my temperature, but the air temperature. And then tons of matares. You can see that one's been blocked off, so you can't get in from the other side for whatever reason. Maybe instability, maybe just access reasons. And it's dark, man. It's a lot darker than the camera's making it. Okay, so it's getting pretty, the temperatures are lowering slightly. I might go one more. Dude, I wonder what's in there. I really want to know. I want to know. Can you show me? All right, I'm going to take the temperature in here. It feels pretty good. And then, look at that. Oh, we got some reconstruction going. Oh, whoa, it's a big hole. Got some reconstruction going on. I got pipes and scaffolding, some structure support. That's probably not a great thing. But you can see straight out. That's crazy. All right, I don't even know if you can see that, but it started out at 88.7. We're going to leave it alone, and then we'll come back in a minute as we continue. Whoa, there we go. And we're gonna walk this one out a little bit and just explore while the temperature is regulating. Whoa, look at that collection of matates. It's a lot, dude. And then you got an upper window. Holy cow, look at that. Dude, that's freaking amazing. And then this will be the way out. Bro, look at how thick this adobe mud is. And I would not do this. Looks like it's 1,000 years old. Look at that. The crumble. Now there's some sort of implant. Maybe it's not. Maybe it was just stuccoed over roughly. But again, you can see the difference between the naturally chiseled rocks that look more squared off versus the river rocks that we found earlier. Let's go take a look at the temperature and see if it's gone down at all. Oh, hold up. Main point of the temperature gauge is to show that the ventilation that these guys had was miraculous. I mean, you can see here the vent windows on the door windows, and then all the doors, they almost interlock north, south, east, west, and then you can just go right through them. That would be a perfect draft if you're looking at wind. Now, this thing's taking its sweet time to go ahead and give me a reading, so I'm gonna go ahead and stop this. Bro, I've been in here doing measurements. That's a bat, dude. Is he looking at me? I don't love that. Bro, I'm just in this room waiting with this bat, and he's chilling on the roof. Oh my God! Oh my God! Holy shoot! Oh! Please don't take me! Don't take me! Okay, I don't know where it's at. It's in here somewhere. It didn't leave the room. I'm gonna get my temperature gauge. Ain't trying to get no viruses. We got a temperature of 82. It went down 8 degrees. That means that it's much cooler inside the kiva. I don't like bats. Pretty lit. I always love that. National Park Service elevation 5,642.6, bro. Oh. Okay, well, didn't expect that in the middle of summer. Holy cow. Well, I think these are the ones that we were looking into but couldn't see. Had been blocked off. What does this do, this trail? There's more back here. Well, as I'm walking to my next destination, that's Carlsbad Caverns. That's where the bats are, inside that giant underground pueblo. Apparently they like to live there. I was forewarned, but I didn't believe it. So, my bad. Got some junipers, juniping. Some cottonwooding. Making it so I can't breathe. Just kidding, it's not that season. What do we got up here? What do we got up here? Got, looks like a filled-in kiva or something. This is strange. Or not undiscovered at least. It's completely not really showing much at all. So I don't know why that is. It's kind of weird. Here we got another grinding stone, and the only place I haven't been up to yet, that's actually a really flat one. One place, it's kind of like the high ground at this location. You can see everything. there's a ton of people up here earlier, a bunch of tourists. So figured, oh, more people. Figured I'd come out here and get a direct shot of a 360 angle of this place. That way you can get more orientation. But if you look over there, get the visitor center. And then we have those are the pueblos back there. Starting right there that lead you into the Bash Cave apparently. Over there is the largest of the pueblos on site, the highest elevation. That's going to be the Grand Kiva. And then you have the Center Kiva. And then I'll tell you, man, from what I can see, it looks like there might be, I think there are further sites, but I'm going to wait for my time to do that. May just be me making nothing out of something, or something out of nothing. But the pillars seem to be in like 6 or 8s. You know, maybe 2 is just a good number for structural integrity, but that's what I was able to find. So I don't know, maybe it's something, maybe it's nothing like my T-shaped doors that I always talk about. Although I'm not the first one to bring that one up. I found out later though. I was the first one that I knew. It's about the actual visitor center, but it says the house that Earl built. Few who entered the visitor center realized this was the house that Earl Morris built in 1920. Fewer still realize many of the ponderosa beams overhead were 800 years old when Morris borrowed them from the ruins. So some of the still ancient stone axe marks can be seen on some of these. So this is some of the original timber used in this building. So we're going to be looking at numbers 1 through 7 basically. This one is a specialized tour, and then I haven't even heard of 9 or 8, which 9 and 8 are going to be North Mesa community and the Aztec North. Man, thank you guys for revisiting history. It's always a pleasure, whether I'm being chased down by giant rattlesnakes or falling down mountains or getting sand in places you don't want. But this is what it takes to get everybody the content that will, you know, live in posterity. And then, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if you can take this and 3D visualize everything I'm seeing right now, everything around me, and just completely put it together later on. With the technology advancing the way it is, AI is going to be able to analyze the environment and reconstruct it. It's going to be amazing. But for now, I got more than I asked for. Sometimes with revisiting history, I get less than what I want, and sometimes I just get punched in the mouth. So thank you guys for watching. You guys are awesome. I really do appreciate it. Keep revisiting history. Keep being yourself. Don't let anybody tell you anything else. Otherwise, you're a gangsta. You're beautiful.